Our next video is a video with Miss Ann Zanders, who is the Director of Grants and Resources at Baton Rouge Community College. And you'll see how important grants and also donations to the college really assist the college in doing an outstanding job of serving its citizens. So check out this video. Welcome back to the show. I'm right here at the Acadian campus in the library, and I have with me a very special lady, Miss Ann Zanders, and she is the director of BRCC's Grant Resource Center. Miss Zanders.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Excited to hear about all the great work that you do. Tell us, and the Grant Resource Center, what do you guys do?
Well, the Grant Resource Center was designed to provide services to our faculty and staff so that we could access grants at an easier pace. What we do is we research, we look for funding sources for our faculty and staff. We also teach grant writing classes to the faculty, you know, to help them kind of get familiar with what's involved with the grant process. We help facilitate the signature process so that everybody on the campus who should know that we're applying for certain grants, they do know. And so it's really a service for our faculty and staff to help them navigate through the grant process, the proposal submission process. Right now, you know, if you want to go to a federal grant, you have to be registered with grants.gov, and a lot of our faculty don't have to do that because we actually do that. We keep all of our registrations current so that if we want to apply for a National Science Foundation grant or any other grant, Department of Education grant, we keep up those registrations so that there's no problem if we want to go ahead and apply for grants with those agencies. So we try to monitor private foundations that offer funding for programs and things that are appropriate for our campus. I also network with the faculty, finding out what some of their ideas that might actually be grant fundable.
Right.
Because sometimes they have an idea and it really is not appropriate for a grant. But we monitor all of the foundations that are private that would fund Louisiana. And so then if something comes up, I will send it out to our faculty and staff that's interested in that particular type of project. And then they'll let me know if they want to write or not, and then we begin the process and we help them with budget planning and things like that. Nice. So the whole proposal submission process, we help our faculty and staff navigate through that if they want to submit a proposal.
That's outstanding. And then for the layperson who's maybe not, doesn't have a lot of information about grants or how higher education works, they may say, well, what do you need a grant for? So why would you need grants for programs?
Well, a lot of times, you know, our higher ed's budgets are getting cut all the time because it is something that can be cut through the legislative process. So they are, sometimes we have equipment needs, sometimes we have professional development needs. Sometimes we want to actually write curriculum and get a new program started. So all of those types of projects are appropriate for a grant. If we don't have access to funding for those things, then grants are a good option.
And I think a lot of people out there who are watching may not understand that. And now this maybe helps them to see more clear. And also some may say, well, I'm paying tuition. Shouldn't that cover all that?
Well, not really. Because even though our students do pay tuition, the cost of higher education is growing, and the state percentage of funding for our college is shrinking.
Right. So,
you know, the two areas, when they come together, we still have a shortfall.
Have needs, right?
Sure.
And the tuition right now is an average of $1,800 a semester per student, and that's a nominal fee when you're trying to do state-of-the-art training and have state-of-the-art equipment. So,
and you know, we have programs at BRCC that are equipment heavy. The nursing program, you know, and they do need state-of-the-art equipment. You don't want to train your students on equipment that's not even being used. So we do need to look at options, especially if there's an express need for it.
Sure. And what are some of the grants that you have out there now?
Well, I'm proud to say we are one of the first community colleges to receive an Upward Bound grant. And we were funded again this last cycle. So we're in our 7th year with an Upward Bound grant. And that helps first generation students access college. So we have a lot. We have about 60 students in that program. They are on our campus during the weekends. There's a full staff, and so that's a really great Department of Ed trio grant that we received, and we're real happy about that. We also have the STEM division have two actually very prestigious grants. One from the National Science Foundation and one from the National Institute of Health. And very few community colleges get that NIH grant. Both of those grants are partnered with LSU. And it's to provide opportunities for minority students to get into STEM type majors.
And STEM being
science, technology, engineering, and math. And minorities and gender, females really don't get into those programs like
they
we
should.
would really
Right,
like them
yeah,
to. Correct. And so LSU has recognized that we can create a pipeline to their programs. And so we really were very fortunate to receive those. In addition to that, we have a it's called TAC. It's Training Adjustment, Trade Adjustment Act Community College grant.
Right.
That again is very prestigious, and that we also working with students who are getting their GED and trying to transition them over into careers at a high wage, high demand. I think they call them craft training.
Yes.
And hopefully the potential for them to come on a credit side. And so you're moving them from the non-credit side to the credit side, but they started out with adult basic education and getting their GED.
Right.
So it's really a pathway to success, truly.
Yeah. And now we've had students who were benefactors of that particular grant. And what that means is some of these craft programs are offered for free because of the grants that are written. So it's free to the student, but of course it had to be paid for somewhere, and it's through these types of grants, which are really important.
Yeah, and then we have some standing grants that we do get. The Paul Perkins grant, which supports all of our career and tech ed programs. Actually, we do have our first community collaboration, and that was a Department of Justice grant. And we are partnering with Capital Area Reentry Coalition.
Oh yes.
And we are partnering with them. We're the education provider for corrective education. And so this particular grant identified 2 zip code areas that have a high crime rate and also a high poverty rate. And it was designed so that those men and women who are coming out of incarceration in those 2 zip code areas, we then, at least Capital Area Reentry Coalition, supports them. And then we also provide the education component. And so we will work with the prison system to provide education at Hunt and Dixon and Louisiana Women's Institute. And also we're starting a new program at East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. And so BRCC is the education provider. And there are other things involved in that grant, but our significant role is that we provide education for those men and women in anticipation of them being released, and then hopefully helping them transition successfully back into their communities. That's a great program. Yes, yes, it is.
And so it's obvious how important grants are to have them at BRCC. Again, for those just channel surfing and checking out the channels and what's going on, this is Miss Ann Zanders, who is the director of the Grant Resource Center at BRCC, and of course those grants are changing lives and really important to the college and also to the students that we serve. So you do a great job there, obviously.
Thank you.
And we definitely want to have you back on once you get more grants that are approved, and we'll talk about the great things that are going on right here at BRCC.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders.
Okay.
Thank you, you guys. Nice. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.